Generic greetings and welcome to Humankind and a new series. Today's beverage is a very nice cup of green tea. Lovely, lovely. So welcome to Humankind. This is a new 4X strategy game from Amplitude, the same people that brought you, among other things, Endless Space and Endless Legend, the latter of which I have played and recommend highly, as well as featured several times on the channel as series. So obviously I was going to check this thing out. This is essentially, let's be honest, their take on Civilization. So where Endless Legend was more sci-fi and fantasy based, this is more grounded and set in reality and history. So yeah, it's a game I've played for about 35 hours, so still only scratching the surface when it comes to 4X strategy games, but I've played enough to get my basic thoughts and feelings down on it, and that is to summarise that I'm very much enjoying it, but it's far from perfect, especially towards the latter part of the game and eras, but that's a discussion for another time. This is a new series where we will be going through creating an empire and getting to, well, some sort of end. That end may be to the latter part of the game and, air quotes, win the game. We may get to a certain point and decide that actually that's probably a nice place to end our story and bookend it there, and we'll call it. Or we may be destroyed in the first 14 turns. The fun, as always, will be in finding out, and as long as the journey's interesting, the destination really doesn't matter. So let's go to play and to new game. If you've never seen the game before, then I wouldn't be overly concerned. It follows the same sort of basic tropes and ideas from a lot of other ground-based 4X strategy games. So if you've seen Civilization, if you've seen Endless Legend, then you'll be fairly comfortable here. And I will be going through the main tones and overviews of the game and summaries, etc. Maybe not in micro detail, but certainly we'll discuss the sort of broad strokes of the game in order for you to pick it up. If you haven't seen any 4X games, this may still be a challenge for you to follow, but you can always give it a go. Anyway, everything's on default is in summary, so this is our character. You can alter the face, hair, skin tone, etc. And that's our character, and our colour is golden. And the symbol is like just a circle. We've also got other AIs here, which have their own sort of aggressions and passiveness, etc., but we'll discover those in the game, and all the settings are on default. So the world is large, pace is normal, difficulty is metropolis, so not the easiest and not the hardest, and peaceful mode is not activated. Maps is, well, none, because there isn't any maps, so this is just the default randomly generated map. I guess this is in case they add more stuff in the future. And then as for content, there's no expansions, no updates, but we have got pre-order and deluxe add-ons there. And there we go. So let's just jump into the game, and I'll go through the basic overview of the game, some of the more interesting concepts and differences from its contemporaries, and we'll do the first however many turns. A couple of disclaimers as well. As I said, I've only played about maybe 30 to 35 hours of the game, so still only scratching the surface. I've played enough to like to think I'm not incompetent, but I'm not competitive and perhaps not as competent as I think I am, but we'll see how things get on. Hopefully you'll be able to follow the series along as we progress, and if you have played the game or know of any good tips, advice, and just generally positive and constructive feedback, by all means leave them in the comments, and hopefully it can improve the series as well. Obviously if there's any big patches or bugs, then we'll have to call the series early, but we'll see how that goes. And finally, I will be skipping the cutscenes, even though I quite like them and I would like to show them. There's far too many YouTube copyright trolls out there which would claim that little bit of video of theirs, and it's just not worth me dealing with, quite frankly. So the idea of the game and the big selling point of the game is that it's split into multiple eras, and in each era you have 10 cultures apart from the first one, which is nomadic, and that's the one we start off with, where we're still looking around and being hunter-gatherers. We don't do farming, we don't do building, we just sort of wander around and gather and etc.
Another day, another dawn of humankind. It is time to finish breakfast, give a rousing speech, and leap into the future.
The narrator, although, you know, they're not Sean Bean, they're not Leonard Nimoy, etc., but I do quite like them. Their wit is very dry, and they can be sarcastic at times as well, so pretty good. So quick rundown of the UI. Obviously in the centre is our main player field. I'll get to that in a moment. Top left shows us what era we're in, so nomadic tribe in the Neolithic era. It shows us our advancement stars required, so we either need to have growth stars, which is 5 population, a knowledge star, which is 10 science, or to kill 5 animals, and that gives us a growth, that gives us a star, and those stars are used to progress into the next era and select a culture. So we just need one of those, so we'll get onto that as we progress on. Every time we get one of these, we gain fame, and the person with the most fame at the end of the game wins it, basically. We have our diplomacy at the top, which is nothing because we've not met anyone. We have our resources on the top right, which is nothing because we've not gathered anything or done anything. We have our end turn on the bottom, and then options for like map focus, etc. In the centre, we have our nomadic tribe. It's a hunting party with a army combat strength of 10. You can see it's got movement points and health. Again, I'm not going to go into it in any great detail because it's your typical stuff that you've seen in a lot of other contemporaries. So yeah, I'll be referring to Endless Legend a lot of the time because that is my base value. So just please understand that that's where I'm coming from in this one. So with that said and done, what are we going to do? Well, we have to move them. So I'm just going to put them on auto explore, and the reason for that is
sustenance, security, and pleasure. Wonderful stuff, this simple food.
Yes, indeed. Yes, so when I put them on auto explore, they'll randomly wander around. I do say randomly, not so much, because there's these curiosities that we have to find, and those are on the map somewhere, but auto explore, it finds them through the fog of war. So I don't know whether that's exploitation of unintended game mechanics, but it's given us the option. So there you go, look, it went back to there. Interesting. So I'm just going to end the turn and let them crack on. So they're going to explore, and we've got some science there. Pretty good.
You could learn what killed them.
And we can use this, we also get influence there, we can settle. And settling, you will settle obviously on a tile, and that tile is on a certain region, and the region is bounded by these dots. And yeah, apparently this is a good place for them to settle. That's where it's recommending. Each tile will generate something, mainly food and industry, although it can generate dust and science. So it's a FIMS system: food, industry, money, and science. I think I said dust there because again, endless. But food is for gaining more population, industry for building stuff, money for buying things, and science for researching. I'm actually going to manually tell them to go over here because I want to have a look. And also, are they going to stand there? Yes, they are. So this is an animal there, and I am going to fight it. Normally I wouldn't, but I just want to show you the combat so you know the basics early on. So the way it works is we don't go into a separate area. It basically gives us the grid. This is our area which we'll be able to fight and maneuver, and this is our spawn point. So what you see on the main map is what you have to work with. So elevations, different terrain types. So being in forest is good for ranged units or against ranged units. Being on water is not good, you get negatives, and obviously being higher up is an advantage, etc. It all depends on the units, but that's the broad strokes for it. We can instant it or we can manual it. I'm going to go to manual, and I'm just going to select over there because why not, and end the deployment, and then we will attack the deer. And there we go, we hit the deer, they lose some health and they attack us back, and yeah, that's it. You have 3 rounds in total. If you don't defeat them after 3 rounds, you don't just end the fight, you actually progress over to the next one. Now this is not a great thing actually, because we are a couple of turns into the game. We've not got another population, and I've not got anything in terms of settlement-wise, so I'm actually probably getting a little bit behind others, potentially. And also, once you've won a fight, you can't move any further, so there you are. I'm going to grab that curiosity, and also that there is, we have something to deal with. We have urgent affairs. So a world aflame here. In the distance, a thin cord of smoke cuts up into the blue skies. Fire! Calling a few tribesmen, you run closer, the smell of cindered bark and burning pine growing strongly with each footfall. You spy dancing flames, and suddenly find yourself on the edge of a settlement on fire. Many of the structures are ablaze, but even with the smoke and flames you can see that boards are marvels of craftsmanship. You're about to direct your men to put out the fires with the loose soil when you see a short shadow of figures running away. They could become part of your tribe if you give chase now, but that would mean losing the secrets of the construction. So it says, raw numbers will help us more than building techniques at this time. A new army of refugees or vandals is added, and extinguish, which gains 25% bonus on city defense research. I'm going to go with chase to get us another army because, quite frankly, I want to put them on auto and let them run around. In here we have 2 units. I'm going to split one of them off, And I think I'm going to settle over here. So I'm going to head down and see what we can find. This one I will put back onto Auto Explore and let them crack on. This is a sanctuary here, so this is where units will spawn, but it's only a sanctuary of deer, so it's not going to be aggressive. You can have like mammoths and bears and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to have a look around, and oh, there's some food. If I go on there, though, it takes time to go onto a river like that. Yeah, so it takes a turn to do it, but once you're on it, actually go faster on those rivers, so it's actually pretty good. If we were to settle, we gain 13 and 6 there. That's our food. So 13 food, 6 industry. I'm trying to see where we are on the map, actually. We're fairly south. We are fairly south. I don't know if this is the best place to settle or not. Like I say, if the game recommends you settle somewhere, it will tell you like that. And that's actually a very good place to settle. I'm going to go there. I'm going to tell them to settle there and end turn. And I'm hoping that this deer wanders off, which is exactly what it has done. So we say auto move, and there's our first little settlement there. Good. We'll tell them once again to auto explore. Once we've put our first little settlement down, we claim that region. So all this region here is now being claimed by ourselves. Doesn't mean that we can't lose it and it can't be fought over, but there we are. And I will... If I fight that deer, I think everything will go wrong, so we're not going to do that. We'll end the turn. And... culture chosen. So now, other people are selecting cultures. Oh, we've also got this deer. I'm going to get that sledge. There we go. We've defeated that. So if we go over here, we can now see that the Hierophants and the Mycenaeans have been chosen. So the Mycenaeans are militarist and the Hierophants are agrarian. I should probably go through these. So each of the eras, you get sort of their affinity. So expansionist or scientists or builders, etc. They normally give you an ability to use. You then get a passive bonus, so raid masters or whatever, Babylonians are brilliant philosophers, extra science. And this goes through all of your game, so you keep this as you progress through the eras. You also get an emblematic unit and an emblematic building, and these are again tied to whatever you pick. So as you might imagine, Egyptians get a pyramid, and we also get a thing I can't pronounce. We'll give it a go. Marker Bata, perhaps? It looks to be a ranged unit based on a chariot, which we need to research the wheel and have horses, which we have neither. And yeah, you lose these as you progress up to the different eras, but that's it. So we have not got the stars yet, but other people have, which is a little bit concerning. I can claim the territory around here, and... it's actually recommending over there, of all places, which is interesting, but it's not connected to this, so I don't really like that. What I'm going to do is I want to get closer to basically the one we have just settled. So, I mean, I could settle there. Let's go up there. We'll end the turn. And, good grief, that's really high up. Urgent affairs. The fungal hoarder. Shift to fix aboards hasn't been easy for the tribesmen and women who'd settled in the outposts, but they've persevered and now thought of the land as home. When they discovered that one of their number had been hoarding mushrooms that he'd found in a nearby cavern for himself, it was a great blow to the spirit of the tribe. So we can banish them, protect them, or retain them, which gives us bonuses. These are not just as statistical bonuses, but also, depending on what you pick, sort of gives you extra story events, and sometimes if it's important, it will let you know that this could give different outcomes. So banish them, protect them, which give us food, or retain them. I'm going to go retain. The man will leave the settlement, but he remains as the tribe. His days will be dedicated to learning more about his strange species. Confirm. And end.
By building an outpost, claiming territory is this easy. The trick, of course, is keeping it.
Yeah, that's true enough. So, it's still recommended we take that one. I really want to capture something over here. Are those guys still trying to work around, are they? They're not able to work around. It's so large, this plateau. Okay. So this here, we can't evolve into a city because we haven't got the requisites, but that requires the next era. And speaking of that, we've just found enough stars to get to the next era. Do I want to settle here? Well, recommend settling there. Let's do it. I don't know what else is around here, but it recommends there and it's close, so I'm just going to do it. So, those guys, get up there. It's quite far away, though. Oh, it's the Rocky Mountains. It's the Rockies. We found the Rockies. You do get really noteworthy features as well, which can give you very good bonuses. So we've got another thing to deal with, a tribe's legacy. You stand at a crossroads. For many moons, the tribe had trekked in the wilderness, slowly, tortuously learning the secrets of the world, how the materials hidden in the deep places and in plain sight might be fashioned to the tribe's advantage, how the beasts and plains of the land and seas can most fruitfully be harvested, and how the myths and stories can glacially but inescapably give power over our greatest enemies, other tribes. How will we be remembered, as makers, farmers, or storytellers? Whittle and Daub gives us +1 industry per population, plant law is +1 food, and storytellers is science. Can't go wrong with farmers. And we now enter a new era. So, Hierophants and the Mycenaeans have already been chosen, which is a shame because Hierophants is my favourite. So who do we want to go for? Assyrians, those are expansionists. Babylonians, they're all about research. Egyptians is building. Hittites is militarist. Nubians, Nubians. We've got merchants. Alright. They're pretty good. The Olmecs are all about influence and diplomacy. Phoenicians, well, that's near water. And are we near water? Well, we've settled on a landlocked area, so no, I don't think we are. We have a choice as well, actually. At the moment, we've got 13 out of 10 knowledge stars. So we've got one of those, but we gain fame by getting them. If we get one more growth star, in fact, like this, we get the other one, and we've got another star, which means we've got an extra fame. Brilliant. That was worth it. Right, so let's select then. I'm tempted with the Babylonians, for it's to do with science. Plus science per research technologies on capital. Okay. They're pretty good. What's the Zhao? Judge not an empire by the strength of its armies. Extra stability on district. Ooh, stability is really good. That's a concept that I was totally lost on me the first time I played it, and it didn't go well. Syrians, Babylonians. I'm tempted by Babylonians, I really am. It's astronomy house if we get that. What do we get as its passive? Scientist empires receive more fame when earning scientist era stars. Can set cities to collective minds to make all industry and money converted into science. Oh, that's pretty good. All mechs. No. Egyptians, yeah. I mean, Egyptians we could, because we've got a lot of industry. You know what? I think I'm fairly set on the Babylonians. And I've not played them, really. And there we go. Sadly, I have to skip the
this means more
event
than
there.
just
There's the
markets for
cutscene, I'm
Babylon.
afraid, but there you are.
It's also the beginning of mathematics, astronomy, and a set of codified laws that I wouldn't want to be caught breaking.
So we have progressed into the next era, and apparently settling there is really good, which I'm probably going to do next turn. Let's auto move some stuff, and one of our settlements can be turned into a city. We're evolving it. So we have 1 out of 2 cities. You can go over your city cap, but you do suffer negatives for it. What's attacking us here? I don't know. Bear, maybe? Either way, we've killed it. So, this is now settled, and as you can see, we now control this area. This is Babylon. Not 5, just Babylon. Number 1. And we have food, industry, money, and science. FIMS. And again, like Endless Legend, you can move people around. In fact, like the Endless games in general, you can move people around from food, industry, money, science, and gain more things. You can see we are generating more population, +1 in 2 turns, and we have a stability, which is... it's a fixed goal, but a sliding scale. So what I mean by that is it is trending currently towards 100%, but it will take time to get there. And this will go up and down based on many factors. So the size of the city and things like that. You can build districts, which are physical add-ons that will do something, so generate food, etc. or whatever. And also, every one of these you build, you get reduction in stability. You also have infrastructure, which is generally just a straight-up bonus, which I'm going to select pottery workshop because it gives us influence, which gives us the ability to, well, settle more. Let's have a quick look, and we found a sanctuary, which I'm going to burn down because you gain money from it. And then we have to select research, calendar, domestication, lots of stuff here. So I should also point out these things. These are strategic and luxury resources. So strategic resources are these rhombus type Sims looking things, and the diamonds are luxury resources, and they'll give you bonuses. So this ebony here, a dense black hardwood that sinks in water. Ebony was a prized or ornamental wood, gives stability and industry. So yeah, pretty good. For research, we can open the technology screen, and I think we're going to go with calendar, which gives us artisan quarter, so we can it gives a granary, and it also allows us to build on luxury resources. And end the turn there.
Let's go.
And does it still recommend here? It does. And we're going to go there. And then we'll say auto explore. And we've got some idle armies. Is that recommending there still? It is, but we need 70 points in order to settle, so that's fine. So again, I'm just going to turn them on to auto explore. I just want the guys to look around. We're trying to find our neighbours, and you can see other people are choosing empires. We're actually making good progress south here. This is going to take a little while to get built, but that's all right.
A first city constructed. Walls, roofs, an outhouse.
Oh.
Ah, the luxuries of civilization.
An outhouse are the luxury of civilization, yes. A good loo. Calendar researched. We've gained artisan quarters and other things. So I'm going to go for probably domestication, no. Carpentry, I think, is the best option. Gives us the option for archers and a lumberyard, which increases our... increases industry in forest and woodland. So we've got our city, but this one next to it is still a settlement. We can either upgrade that to a city at a cost of 160 influence. We don't have that, but you wouldn't do that. What you would do is actually attach it, and that basically expands the territory that you control. But before we do that, I can use our influence to set up
You have
immediately
a first emblematic quarter.
the quarters.
It's a symbol of power and a lasting memory of this era. Go ahead, be smug.
So I'm gathering that. So I want to get these done before I attach it to the city, because if I attach it to the city first, it means we have to build it. Oh, world deed accomplished. Be the first to discover Gungung Mulu. I don't know what that is. Ah, it's a big pile of rocks, apparently. Oh yeah, caves beneath the striking pinnacle mountainside, said to be home to the endless bats, bottomless shafts and lost souls. You gain influence if we control it, and extra stability. Oh, brilliant! So we want to control that, but it's miles away. It is really miles away from us, so that's not ideal. That really isn't ideal. Okay, fair enough. Well, I will, again, try to collect all of these that I can. And this city's not doing anything. I think I'm going to research... Probably more food is required. Counts as a farmer's quarter. We get 4 and 5, but if we place that... Yeah, I guess it counts as a farmer's quarter. I'm going to put it there. So it's going to take a little while to get that done, but that's fine. Research-wise, domestication, end turn. I'm tempted for these guys to get them exploring. Oh, there's domestication research. The reason I'm getting that done automatically is because I'm finding curiosities. It's giving us... Yeah, it's giving us science. I've split this guy off here because I want to bring him back. You can basically get rid of a force and gain that guy back in your city, so as population, which I want to do. We'll go for city defense next. And I'm going to attach that. Which, there you go. It now attaches it. Pretty good. So it looks like cultures have been chosen. Has everybody picked a culture yet? Oh, this is the next one. Shame you can't see the other one. I'm guessing so. There's city defense research. Oh, we're smashing through the research. We are Babylonians, though. It's recommending bronze working because of copper, and there are... Well, there's copper about. Oh, look at that. In a row, 3 marble. That's really good. I really want to settle over here, but I have nowhere near the right amount of influence. Let's just keep exploring. You discovered the breathtaking... What's this? Tugantins. Terrible with names. Oh, big mountain range, essentially. So we've got the Rockies over there. We've got all of these. Yeah. Pretty good. This guy, when we bring him in here, I'm going to say, let's have a quick look, make sure it works. So I've got 2 population, but if I disband him in this territory, we should get 3. Yep, there we go. There's the 3rd one. Brilliant. Okay. I'm going to put this guy on... Well, he's currently doing money, so actually that's fine with me. For this unit, I actually want to bring it back into here, because I want to put a city around this area. Oh! Unknown culture. So we found someone. At Rotnev. Okay.
Off we go.
City's currently doing nothing. We can build over here if we want to. You can also build garrisons, which can be built anywhere. And, well, good for garrisoning and defending. If I build here, we gain 7 industry. I'm going to do that for a maker's quarter.
They have a certain appeal, the Olmecs. Be
Olmecs.
careful that your people don't start liking the neighbours more than you.
I'm going to move over to here. I'm going to claim this area as mine. So there's the Olmecs. Oh, and above them there is blue guys as well. So have a little chat.
For both of our aspirations.
There's the Olmecs. So they're impulsive and adaptive. Okay. They also want to trade luxury resources. I'll accept.
Of course. We accept.
I don't think proposing
This
an
makes me
alliance would
content.
work. So this is the diplomacy screen. It's very bare bones, if I'm honest. It's something that I think does need to be expanded upon. It's functional, but that's about as best I can say about it. You can surprise war, which we wouldn't want to do. You can declare war if you've got enough war support. 80, I think it's required. Yeah. I'll propose an alliance. I know the one accept. Currently at peace, which is good. We can trade resources. You can do treaties, so share maps, open borders, etc., have non-aggression pacts, and then you get your crises, which are later on in the game. Basically, when things go south, they will... oh, don't sit there. So these have sat right there, and I'd have to go all the way around. I'm just going to wait until they wander off next turn. Just say wait. Research-wise, I'm going to go for probably the wheel, because that gives roads between cities, which means you go a lot quicker. Ah, so what's this? They've got a marker here. The Babylonians. The Olmecs have a special interest in this place. Ah, so they really want incense.
Time for your first battle?
Ah,
I bet you're absolutely
Combat.
dying to see how your fighters handle themselves.
so this is actually those attacking me. Because it's neutral. It's sort of a neutral fight, essentially. We're just sort of border skirmishing. I'm just going to leg it. I have no reason to be here. Are they going to come out and attack me? I've moved back, so my flag... There's my flag there. I may have already lost this fight. You have a flag. If you lose your flag, then you lose the fight. So I don't think I'm going to be able to take it back, so I will lose this fight. I didn't think they'd come running out of their defensive area, though. But apparently they are. I think I'm going to lose this one. So, no units lost, but my flag was taken. So I'm just going to run and end the turn. And that deer is really starting to grind my gears because it's going where I want to go. I might as well have a look around to see what we've got. Oh, brilliant. We've got horses. That's what we needed. So, Yeah, I'm just going to move these out the way. And then combat over here against what appears to be a bear. I'm going to instant fight it. Not really bothered about dealing with that. Oh yeah, it's a lair. It's an encampment. Trespassing army destroyed. So I was trespassing in their area and it's been destroyed because you lose health slowly by being there. Okay, fair enough. Finally we can settle down. It's actually recommending I settle over here though. Out of all that messing around. Right, we'll settle there. That'll do me. As long as I control this area, I don't particularly mind where we settle. And there we are. And I want to start basically increasing my borders. This city's pretty much sorted building-wise. I will go for granary. Food for farmers. That's going to be pretty good. In fact, I'm going to move some people over to that. In fact, I do need more food, so we'll put a granary in there. And I can afford to just buy it out in one. If I wanted to, I could buy it out in one. For 2 turns, yeah, I'm buying it out. Buying it out, and can't build our emblematic unit because we don't have copper. We are building astronomy house though. Oh, if we build astronomy house, our stability is going to go down because we're currently on 98. So I'm going to stop that. I don't want to go under. I don't want to go under the settled status. We're on turn 27, so we're smashing through the turns already. All I can say, the game seems to have died. So, is anywhere around here it recommends we settle? It doesn't recommend anywhere around here for us to settle. I don't think it particularly matters. Because, quite frankly, this is going to get attached to that when it becomes a city. So I'm going to settle up there. Animal magic. As the harvest season draws close, the common folk are worried. With many farms scattered across the empire, last year an infestation of rodents, largely rats and mice, plundered granaries. However, rumours have it that one enterprising village mitigated the problem by using cats. But we also know that sailors use a new kind of predator named a ferret. Which of them would you like to employ? So cats, which is, it moves our social axis, something we haven't looked at. Or ferrets. So it goes either between tradition or progress. I'm going to say ferrets. Smaller, the more efficient, even if they're more fragile. We'll confirm that. So this is to do with our society here. So I will touch on this when we need to later on, probably in a different episode. But basically, you slide between either collectivism or individualism, homeland or world, your liberty or authority, and then tradition and progress. And it alters little bonuses, things like, you know, stability on cities or faith, etc. It gives you just bonuses for which way you go and also how you interact with other empires. We do have a crisis here. So this guy here, it says your grievances, they attacked me. So I can say, look, I demand you pay me, so I'm going to demand that. And if they say no, war support goes up. If the war score will go up. If they agree, then, well, we gain money. Smarter discovered. We're discovering loads of stuff in this, and I'm also realising that hopefully we're the only ones south here. Right, that might help us. That might help us indeed. World deed accomplished. Be the first to discover the Great Blue Hole. Wow, there it is. Okay, so we've discovered loads of stuff, and I'm hoping we can keep hold of it. The problem is the Almex.
Not waste my time.
Well, I'm demanding to pay me money. They ain't accepted yet. And I don't know if they will. Either way, I think we are going to leave it there for now. That's been a bit of an interesting start of Humankind. Hopefully a good one. We're currently on 140 for fame, and that means we are technically first, which is all good. That's the first 28 turns of Humankind, a very basics into the game. We have managed to get a city with one attached outpost. We have 2 other outposts that are being constructed, one of which in 3 turns I will convert to a city. And that means we connect these up, and then hopefully we can get right across and then work our way down, assuming nobody else pops up. But obviously we also have these guys to deal with, and there's an unknown blue, I was going to say threat, but I don't know if that's true, but we can't actually discover who they are. But we are looking to be in a decent state. Let's just hope that we can keep it like that. Either way, I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Humankind. Comment in the comments, as always, for suggestions on what we can do, where we need to go build, and just general advice and support is always welcomed. Either way, I hope you have enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.